Hey YouTube, I'm doing a little bit of catch up for my pagan blog project because I've really lapsed on some of the videos. I've lapsed on some of the videos, period, for anything on YouTube. And partially because we were rearranging the house a little bit. So I had everything disheveled and we got new computers, so I had to get the webcam and everything set up with that, and I sort of laxed. I put it off for a while. But for this topic, and this is actually a few weeks ago because we are on E now. This week I need to get the E video up. I've done the E blog post, but I did not do the video yet. So I'm behind on C, D, and E. So this one we're doing crochet and how I incorporate it into my path and my practice a little bit. It's something that I'm like 5th generation, probably more than that, of people who know how to crochet in my family, specifically women, because we go back far enough and it really was more a female hobby. I have made a couple of different tools and different crafts and also some spell work stuff I have done. I actually forgot to grab, I've got a prosperity purse that I made, and I think my daughter borrowed it and it's in her room somewhere. Oh my god. So first, it's a easy connection to the ancestors, since it is a craft that has been around for quite some time. And as such, one thing that I did is a couple of years ago I got these antique bone crochet hooks. There was a set of them that I got on eBay. This is a little, call it a bodkin, for doing eyelets and needle. Basically it's like a needle, except it doesn't have, I think you have to tie it on. And this one, new webcam, gotta get used to it. And I have this crochet hook. These ones stay in my curio cabinet when not in use because I'm worried about them getting lost. But this one has an itty bitty hook. I don't know if I can even get that on there. But this was my great-great-grandmother's. It was one of her crochet hooks. So, and it's tiny. It's size 11, which isn't even the tiniest that they make. But she did a lot of thread crochet work. She has this. She made this dress for a baby doll that's probably this big. The other thing I have done a lot of is pouches. This is my one that I keep my pendulums in. I think you've seen it in other videos. So I have the one from Cara. And my moonstone one is in here as well, because I can't quite figure out which one is going to be, you know, the main one. So I use them as I see fit. But I also have made a bunch. I have a pack of cards. There they are. I do these for tarot cards. This one's for regular playing cards, but I've made plenty of pouches for tarot cards or oracle decks, or in this case, this one fits regular playing cards. This happens to have the cards for my kids' Mr. Potato Head game, but it's like hot potato, Mr. Potato Head. I have made, these were the ones that my husband had set out on the altar, and the cats thought that they'd make wonderful toys. Rune sets. My embroidery is not my strong point, but it gets the point across. So that's one type of tool. I also made him, here's a whole set, with a casting mat, Unfortunately, he doesn't tend to use them in that the manner of like divination, but he has them when he needs to use them. That's why these ones were out on the altar, because they spell frith, bag, where all the rest of them are, because his are huge, which is fine because doesn't have tiny hands. I made this last year for Beltane. The leaves are a little, it's still cute though. It's supposed to be done in like a sport weight that would make them a little bit stiffer, but I did it in worsted weight cotton, so they're a little droopy. They need some water. Prayer beads. This one is a pentacle, like a rosary style, but I've also made a half mala. It's got dust on it. I think it fell on the floor and the cats were playing with it. Cats like yarn. But this is a rosary style, so it's got the type of beads as a rosary would have it. It's got some bigger ones mixed in there. A couple of years ago, I was doing a flame keeping shift for Bridget Breed, and we did a brat swap. Brat, I don't know how you pronounce it really. This was the one from that I swapped. I sent in one and she sent me that one. But I also have a larger, you put them out on Imbolc, and that way Bridget can come and bless them. And you can use them in future years for healing. So this one is a much larger Celtic knotwork shawl that I'm not going to be able to get in the full frame. It's huge. Like I have a king size bed and it'll lay across the whole bed. Totally functional, but I made it just for fun because this was in Hogwarts at Ravelry. Back when I was doing that, I was in the Slytherin class. A wand. Like I said, it would be totally functional if you wanted to use a wand like this. This one happens to be out of acrylic scraps, and normally for any sort of magical tools, I will use natural fibers rather than these synthetics. But it'll still work. This dream pillow. In the back, it has a pocket so you could put crystals or a little note or anything you want to in there and then sleep on it. And like I said, a very connecting to the ancestors type of thing. You can use it. I often, if I'm doing some sort of spell work, will use it as a manner of a knot spell, because essentially all you are doing is creating a knot after another knot, and they're connected knots, but they are knots. So like I said, I did a purse where that one was with you. When you start a row, you would say, with each stitch I grow rich, and then at the end of the row you would say, with each row my wealth does grow. And you repeat that throughout the entire pattern, so it's, you know, just as you're working on the project. And that can be done in smaller versions. If you wanted to do a sort of mojo bag to put little crystals or herbs or different things in there, or using these for different stones, like my previous Crystal of the Week videos, I will use these if I'm using a small tumbled stone, because that way I can have it with me at all times without necessarily having it in my pocket, and it's a lot harder to lose it in this around your neck. Not to mention the fact that if you're doing crystal healings or different chakra work, because the heart chakra will transport it to every other part of your body, if you are wearing these and it's right there, it's conveniently located. So I have a lot of these. Some of them have smaller, so it's made for just to be in your pocket or just to have a little mojo spell bag that's not around your neck. And I have this one, which I made, kind of looks like a mini cauldron, sort of. But I made them not for these particular ones, but they are to hold dice. I actually made some out of Fimo, polymer clay, Sculpey, whatever, and used these as dice bags. I'm sure I will think of plenty of other things. Like I said, the prosperity purse that I totally forgot to get here is green. Go figure. It was, well, maybe I'll post the pattern below because I will find some of the other patterns to link if you're interested in making some of these types of things for your own personal use. Like these are a pattern on Llewellyn's website. I think she does. She has them on Ravelry too, but it links to the Llewellyn site. This is not my pattern. I have made a version that was just off of the top of my head, but yeah. I've also done some pendulums with a crochet chain for the chain rather than a metal chain. And this one's out of, it's totally not my favorite, but this one's out of Sculpey, Fimo, whatever as well. Yeah, I think that covers just about everything. This is a horse chestnut for good luck and prosperity that I crocheted a little pouch for it to go in. This one is sewn shut, but it has, I did them both differently. I think this was a horse chestnut. One of them was wrapped in a $1 bill, anointed with different oils. I did like 3 or 4 of these and gave them out to friends and family. I think this one was my husband's. It's crushed. Needs a new one. I think that about covers all of my, probably not all of it, nowhere near all of it, because I know I've got other crochet things and other pouches and different necklaces. You can use it for ritual wear, head scarves, or like the crown. It's cute. Shawls, anything like that. And it's really simple to turn any of it into some sort of spell by coming up with a chant or something to say at specific points in your work. Like I said, the one was with each stitch I grow rich, and with each row my wealth does grow. And I've come up with one more that was like inch by inch, yard by yard. Soon I will have my reward. I don't know. It was something I was kind of kicking around. I haven't perfected it yet, but I knew something with that inch by inch, yard by yard. Bye. The prosperity purse. I went and grabbed it. So, and this, like she recommended getting a ribbon, but I used what I had on hand, which this came from a present or something. It's this sort of sparkly. It's a pretty ribbon that went really well. But edges don't want to lay flat. If I were to do it again, I would put buttonholes on each corner rather than the one in the middle because the corners want to roll up. So I wanted to show you that. So you knew what I was talking about when I was talking about the prosperity purse.